Thanks for joining me. In today's writing vlog, I am going to talk to you about my current writing project. And so if you are interested in writing and the writing process, but also if you're interested in writing a trilogy, stay tuned because I'm going to share with you 3 things that I've learned when I wrote this trilogy. I decided that I was going to write all 3 books in the trilogy before I did any publishing. And I am now done with the 3 books, and I am in the editing and publishing process, which is a big thing. I actually just received book number 1 proof copy for me to go through. And so at the end of this video, stick around. I'm going to do a cover reveal of book number 1 in my new trilogy, and you can be some of the first people to see it. I'm going to share with you 3 things that I learned while I wrote this trilogy. Number 1, write an outline before you start. So I had my characters picked out. I had their names. I knew who they were. I had an idea of the environment. I knew what terrible trouble I was going to plunge my characters into at the beginning of the book. And I started writing. And everything went great. I got through book 1 and then I got to book 2. And book 2, I wrote 40,000 words, and I realized that my characters were in a deep, dark cave and there was no escape. And I had written them into a corner, so to speak. And I realized this wasn't where I wanted my characters to be. So I threw it all out and I went, I'm going to make an outline because I need to know where I'm going in this book. It's like a map. So I came up with an outline and started over with book 2. That took a lot of time to do all of that, but it's well worth it. Number 2, once you finish the book, each book, set it aside and let it germinate. Writing is such a solitary activity that we often, when we get to a certain place, we're like, oh, I want to let someone read this, so I want to keep moving. And I actually did that with book 1 in this, and I have a very sweet friend who was so sweet about reading it. And she gave me some positive feedback, but it wasn't what it needed to be at that point. Had I let it germinate and then gone back to it and given her something a little bit better, she would have been able to give me more feedback and better feedback. Don't be in a hurry to release it to people to read. When you take your writing and you set it aside and let it germinate, when you come back to it, you have fresh eyes on it. You're more objective. I did this with one of my books. I was reading it. I'm like, whoa, who wrote this? This is so good. I got so caught up in it. I realized that I was so caught up in it that I was reading it and I wasn't doing the editing that I was supposed to be doing because I was enjoying the story so much. And I know that's like a good thing, but it's kind of funny because I let it sit. And when I came back to it, it was like reading a new story. And that's what you want. Number 3, don't fall in love with what you've written. Be willing to rewrite, revise, and rework what you've written. You do not get to fall in love with your words until you hit publish. Because until you hit publish, anything can change. Any character that you fall in love with could end up dying because that's what needs to happen to further the story. So this happened with me and my writing partner. We would go through the work and he would say, okay, this needs to change. You need to redo this. And I'd be like, but I love that. I want to keep that. Had I not been willing to rework things and change things that needed to be changed, the book wouldn't be as good as it is. Be willing to change anything until you hit publish. Once you hit publish, you can fall in love with your work all you want. Okay, it's that time for the cover reveal. Are you ready for it? Here we go. Here's the cover of book 1. This is the Electricals Saga. It is, the first book is called The Uprising, and I just love the cover. It's beautiful. I hope you love it as much as me. I cannot wait to get this out in the world for you to get your hands on it, but I have to go through it first. I'm going to go through it and make changes, make sure it's just right, and then you can get your copy. You are among the first people to see it. So exciting. Thanks for watching. I will be posting on here more regularly as I go through the process of publishing this trilogy. And when it comes time for it to go live, you will be among the first to know. Thanks for joining me. I will talk to you next time.